Today, I am taking up the topic, part 2 of evolution, the theories of organic evolution. Yesterday, we have seen the origin of life, and in this class, we study the evolution of living organisms. Many theories were proposed explaining the mechanism of organic evolution. Among them, the important theories are Lamarckism, Darwinism, and mutation theory. First, let us take up Lamarckism. In the year 1809, a French zoologist by name Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck proposed, or he wrote a book by the name Philosophy Zoologique. In that book, he described about the organic evolution. His ideas about organic evolution are known as Lamarckism. Incidentally, the same year Charles Darwin was born. In the Lamarck's theory, there are two important principles. The first principle is principle of use and disuse. The second one is principle of inheritance of acquired characters. Lamarck stated that whenever changes occur in nature, suitable modifications take place in the body organization of animals. So, for evolution, a change must occur in the nature. He gave the example of giraffe. The ancestors of giraffe were very small and they had a short neck. Then a change occurred in nature. The grass, which was their food, suddenly disappeared. So, a grazer giraffe became a browser giraffe. It started eating leaves available on the branches of trees. As the leaves were available on the higher branches, they have made an effort to stretch their neck. And they had also an internal urge to have longer necks. Because of this internal urge and the effort of stretching the necks, their neck is slightly elongated. This is called acquired character. Any character acquired during the lifetime of an animal is known as acquired character. According to Lamarck, these acquired characters have the property of inheritance. So, this slightly elongated neck was transmitted to the next generation. The next generation also continued the same effort in the same direction. As a result, their neck elongated still further. Like this, over many generations, due to constant effort, a long neck has appeared in giraffe. That's why today we see giraffes with a very long neck. So in this way, through use of the neck or through constant effort, giraffes have already a long neck. By disuse also, animals lose organs. For example, snakes. Snakes had limbs like any other lizard, and they also had a lizard-like body in the olden days. But as they have tried to enter burrows and crevices in search of food, what happened? The limbs were a hurdle. They started creeping on their bellies. As they stopped using their legs, what happened? Ultimately, the legs have disappeared in the snakes. Their body is also got elongated. Similarly, the land birds became aquatic birds by developing a web between their toes. They went on stretching their toes in water. As a result, the skin present between the toes got expanded and they have developed a web and became aquatic. In this way, according to Lamarck, through use and disuse, new traits appear, and these new traits or new characters are inherited by the next generation through inheritance. So this is called inheritance of acquired characters. There are many objections to Lamarckism. In China, having small feet is, they consider a beauty. So the Chinese have been trying to reduce their feet over many generations, but till now, not even a single child is born with small feet. Similarly, a bodybuilder develops very big muscles, and these muscles are not transmitted to his children. So like this, there are so many examples which are objection to Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters. The death blow to Lamarckism came in the year 1888 by a German scientist known as August Weismann. He conducted decardialization experiments on mice. Decardialization means removal of tail. So loss of tail is an acquired character according to Lamarckism. So Weismann, what he did? He removed the tails of a pair of mice and bred them. The young ones born to them had normal tails. The length of the tail was not reduced even by 1 millimeter. Then he removed the tails of the progeny and bred them. Like that, for many generations, he conducted the decardialization experiments. And at the end of the experiments, he noticed that always the young ones are born with normal tails and the loss of tail was not exhibited. Even the tail did not decrease even by 1 millimeter. So he proved that Lamarck theory is wrong. And he proposed his own theory, which is known as Germplasm theory. According to him, in the bodies, the substance is present in two types. One is called somatoplasm, another one is germplasm. The somatoplasm is present in the somatic body cells, whereas germplasm is present in the gonads. Any changes occurring in the somatoplasm are not heritable. They have no chance of inheritance. But any change occurring in the germplasm is heritable. Extending the neck of a giraffe is a change occurring in the somatoplasm, so it has no chance of inheritance. Similarly, all the examples given by Lamarck are changes in the somatoplasm and they have no chance of inheritance. That is about Lamarckism. Next comes Darwin. Darwin, a British naturalist, travelled around the world in a ship called HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836. During his voyage, he visited many countries. Among them, Galapagos Islands are very important. Galapagos Islands belong to a country known as Ecuador, and they are situated in the Pacific Ocean on the equator. The Galapagos Islands are about 21 islands, and they are a living evidence of organic evolution. Various types of animals are found on Galapagos Islands, and among them, finch birds are very important. Now we call them as Darwin's finches because Darwin's theory is mainly based upon the evolution of finch birds. The ancestors of finch birds came from the main island and settled on Galapagos Islands and different Galapagos Islands. The conditions on different Galapagos Islands are different. So, on each Galapagos Island, the finch birds evolved in different ways and a number of new species are formed. And this has greatly influenced Darwin in developing his theory of organic evolution that is known as natural selection. Then, in 1838, Darwin read a book known as The Principle of Population written by Thomas Malthus. Thomas Malthus wrote this book in 1798. He was worried about population explosion in England at the time. And he suggested many ideas to reduce the population size. In his book, Malthus gave this statement. human populations grow exponentially while the food production grows in an arithmetic progression. This statement influenced Darwin greatly. After reading this, he immediately formed his idea about natural selection. And he started writing a very big book. He started collecting information from various sources. He collected pigeons from all over the world. He raised earthworms. And he went on conducting experiments and collecting information. Then, what does this exponential and arithmetic progression means? In the case of exponential or geometrical progression, what happens? The population size increases very rapidly. See here, 1 plus 1, 2. In the next generation, 2 becomes 4. In the next generation, 4 becomes 8. Then 8 becomes 16. 16 becomes 32. So in this way, in 5 generations, from one animal, 32 animals are formed. Now let us see the arithmetic progression about the food. In the first generation, let us say 1 ton food is available. In the next generation, it becomes 2 tons. Next generation, 3 tons. Next 4 tons. Next 5 tons. Next 6 tons. Like that, in 6 generations, 1 ton food grows to 6 tons. See the disparity. The population has grown from 1 to 32, but the food has grown from 1 to 6. That means this difference leads to competition among human beings. So based upon this, Darwin developed his theory. Now, on June 18, 1858, Darwin received a letter from another British naturalist. He is Alfred Russel Wallace. He was working in Malay archipelago. One day, he also read the book written by Malthus. I have got the book of Malthus. This is the book written by Malthus, an essay on the principle of population. Wallace also got a similar idea like Darwin. Then immediately, he wrote a letter to Darwin, who was already famous in England, requesting Darwin to go through the letter and if he thinks the theory is acceptable, to get it published. When Darwin saw that letter, he was shocked because his entire theory was written in that letter in an abridged form. It was a real shock of the life for Darwin. Then his friends, the geologist Lyell and the botanist Hooker, found an idea to overcome this situation. They presented Darwin's theory along with Wallace's letter on 1st July 1858 in the Linnean Society of London. After that, Darwin did not wait for his big book. He immediately published a small book in the next year, that is 1859, and that book is known as Origin of Species. This is the book. You can see the full title here. This is the Origin of Species, written by Charles Darwin. This book created a sensation not only in England but also in European countries. Till then, everyone believed that God is responsible for evolution. But in this book, Darwin says that God has no role to play in evolution. Nature is responsible for organic evolution. And there were big fights and big debates. Ultimately, the winner is Charles Darwin. Now let us see what are the salient features in Darwin's theory of natural selection. There are 6 important features. The first one, prodigality of production or overproduction. Everyone knows that organisms have an immense power of produce a number of young ones. We see it every day. For example, human beings. Coming to human beings, in 25 years, the human population can double. If it multiplies at this rate, within 1000 years, there won't be any place even to stand on the earth. Next, elephant is the slowest breeding animal on earth. The gestation period or pregnancy period in elephant is 21 months. Even such a slow breeder, from one pair of elephants, in 750 years, 19 million elephants can be produced. Then there is a fish known as salmon fish, famous for its migration. This fish produces, each fish produces millions of eggs. And if all of them survive, within a few years, the entire oceans will be filled with salmon fish. So that is the power of reproduction in various organisms. Then constancy of populations. Though organisms have immense power of reproductive capacity, their population size never increases. Always their number remains the same. Take the human population. It has been constant for over many centuries. The size of elephant population, it is also remaining stagnant. The population of salmon fish. So all the animals, though they have immense power of reproduction, their number remains constant always. Then, how this constancy of populations occurs? This constancy of populations is due to struggle of survival. The organisms have to carry out three types of struggles. They are intraspecific struggle, interspecific struggle, and struggle with the natural forces. The first one, intraspecific struggle, is very severe. Intraspecific struggle means struggle among the members of the same species. The needs of the animals belonging to a species are identical. They need food, shelter, and share, and a partner, a mate. So the struggle is very severe, and in the struggle a number of the organisms perish, they die. The second one is interspecific struggle. This is the struggle occurring between different species of organisms. We take the example of human beings. Human beings are killed by snakes, killed by other wild animals, killed by parasites. So like this, human beings die because of various reasons. Then, natural forces. Nature also destroys a large number of populations. We take, for example, cyclones, flooding, heat, cold, tsunamis, glaciation, earthquakes, etc. All these natural factors also destroy a large number of organisms. As a result, at any given time, the number of animals of a given species always remains constant. Then, who will survive in this struggle? Only the organisms that have beneficial variations have a chance of survival. See, every year so many millions of human beings are born, but all appear different. No two human beings are identical except the identical twins. Why human beings are not identical? This is because of the occurrence of variations. Not only in human beings, in all the animals we find variations. These variations are again three types: beneficial variations, harmful variations, and neutral variations. So the organisms having beneficial variations have a better chance of survival over the others. So in nature, according to Darwin, only the organisms having beneficial variations have a chance to live and reproduce. Then, natural selection. So, nature selects only the best organisms that have beneficial variations have a better chance of survival. This is called natural selection. But Herbert Spencer, another scientist, he used the term survival of the fittest to explain natural selection. So according to him, only the fittest will survive. Unfit have no chance of survival on this earth. Then, inheritance of variations. If variations are not heritable, they serve no purpose. So according to Darwin, all the variations have the power of inheritance and transmitted to the next generations. In this way, due to accumulation of variations, in course of time, new species evolve. This is what the natural selection of Darwin's theory explains. But there are a number of objections to Darwinism. First one, he explained the survival of the fittest, but not the arrival of the fittest. That means he didn't explain how the fittest organisms are produced. Then, he did not explain how the traits are transmitted from generation to generation. Or he did not explain about inheritance. For this, he proposed a theory known as pangenesis, theory of pangenesis. According to this theory, each organ of the body produces a miniature copy of itself. This is called pangene. So, the pangenes of all the organs enter the gonads and they are assembled into a miniature organism. That miniature organism is transferred through gonads, through the germ cells into the zygote. In this way, characters are transmitted from parents to offsprings. But this is an absurd theory. But from this word pangene, the word gene is coined, and this term gene is now used to explain the heritable units present on the chromosomes. Then, speciation produces better species. But what happens if the speciation exceeds the level? Or if the speciation turns into overspeciation? Overspeciation means overdevelopment of organs. In the case of deer called elk deer, deer have antlers on the head. Antlers help in offense, defense, etc. But in the elk deer, the antlers have become so big, carrying them became a burden, and ultimately the entire elk deer have disappeared. Similarly, in one type of tiger called the saber-toothed tiger, the canines have become so big, they could not close their mouth, they could not feed, and they too have become extinct. In woolly mammoth, the tusks have become so big, it resembles elephant. The tusks became so long and heavy, the entire species have disappeared. So there is no answer for overspeciation in Darwin's theory. And in one point, Darwin was very correct. He thought that small variations help in evolution, but large-scale variations, which he called sports, are more harmful than beneficial in evolution. In that point, he is right. In this way, there are so many objections to Darwinism. And one more point, he didn't distinguish between somatic variations and genetic variations. Then, the last theory is mutation theory. It was proposed by Hugo de Vries in the year 1901. He observed in the plant Enothera Lamarckiana, all of a sudden appearing new species. In one generation, new species appeared. According to Darwin's theory, evolution is due to accumulation of small variations. If that is so, there must be uniform transformation from one level to another level. And there must also occur connecting links. In many cases, connecting links are not found. Hugo de Vries explained this like this. In many cases, connecting links are not present because evolution takes place in one step. In one step, new species evolve from existing species. But later evidences or later investigations have shown that Hugo de Vries is wrong. In Enothera lamarckiana, new species appear all of a sudden, not because of any variation, but due to chromosomal aberrations, change in the chromosomal number. So, Hugo de Vries' theory of mutations has no value nowadays. And even the meaning of the word mutation is changed now. We are using the term mutation to refer to the changes occurring in the genetic material or DNA. In this way, many theories were proposed to explain how the organic evolution has taken place on this earth. That is about theories of organic evolution. Okay, thank you.